Yo, yo. What up, everybody?
That is pretty cool. I had the YouTube going, so I thought it was muted. It wasn't, so it was playing just a beat off of real
Right.
time, and it made your intro sound like the Twilight Zone. Like the
Sweet.
do 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 do. It started to get those tones in it. I was like, "Oh man, I dig the new intro." Then I realized, "Hey, dipshit, you have your have the sound on the other page."
Nice. What up, Mickey G?
Mickey.
Yeah, I can imagine how that would have sounded. That'd be cool. Maybe
It sounded really cool. You should try it.
I
Try
could
to mix
probably,
it.
find a way to overlap it.
Yeah,
I'm
figure
going
out
to
what that
get,
lag was. Like it's like a 2 or 3 second lag.
I'm going to get I got this nice 808 beat that I was going to record on, probably probably about 15, maybe 10, 15 years ago. And I forgot all about it. And I found it recently. And I was like, dude, I got to make something to put to that, or make like a little intro piece to put to it. So, yeah, I'm going to try to play with it because it's a funky hip hop. So,
Sweet. I love the intro. I love it.
Yeah, that's actually from it's a song I'm on. It's called Blunt Raps. It's on Super Smash Bros. Album, and it's me and my boy SHSM and their group Super Smash Bros. Doing a collabo. So
nice.
I have to send you the actual song.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny because like when we actually made it, and when we released it, it was released in right at the verge of this PC era. You know what I mean? And so and so like there's an intro to it where I play a clerk at a store, Indian dot not feather clerk at the store, and the other two dudes that are on they come in and they're buying blunt wraps, and beer and stuff. And so I'm like the hey buddy, how you doing? People were like, yeah, people were like, dude, not cool, bro. Like, what? Fuck you.
So very tone deaf, dude. Yeah. Whatever bullshit is mumbled these days.
I'm telling you.
Yeah. So like during the pandemic, speaking of that phrase, just it's stuck in my head because one of my favorite clients ever, right, in the construction business opened up a really successful line of bagel shops, right, in Dallas. And I love him. He is awesome. And actually, it's his hat I'm wearing. It's the shop's hat. But anyway, this was his first location. And it was like a brand new venture for him. And it just so happened that we wrapped up construction like right as the pandemic hit. I mean, right as the pandemic hit. And I think everything was like going nuts in February, and I like got his CO in March. Then he had to train. So it was like mid-April, I want to say, when he opened, maybe early May. I can't remember how long. Anyway, it's like fresh pandemic. Everybody's losing their shit.
Right.
And social distancing. So he opens up and he's right at the SMU campus in Dallas, which is huge, right? Nothing but drunk college kids looking for some hangover food. So smart for him, putting it where it was. His opening day, it like wrapped around the entire building and into the alley. This broad stood in line for like an hour and a half to get in to order her bagels. And as she's ordering them, she's like, I can't believe that you opened up right now. It's so like tone deaf. And I was, you just stood in line for an hour and a half. Yeah, it's real tone deaf. It'll be $20.
Yeah. Yeah, that whole, I guess you'd call it an era, didn't cease to amaze me at all after I got numb to it. I was just
the crap that comes out of people's mouths anymore. I'm just like,
yeah.
You get punched square in the face like back in my day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, have you come across a Karen in the wild? You know what I mean?
I thought I was gonna encounter one this past weekend. I hate shopping at Walmart, but where I live, that's like one of the bigger grocery stores, right? It's Albertsons, Kroger, and Walmart, and Kroger is worse than Walmart in my opinion. And Albertsons, if I'm getting a lot of food, it's more expensive than Walmart. So I'll just go. I'll just suck it up and go to Walmart, even though I hate it. And as I'm checking out, and I'm in like the self checkout, and I don't have like a shopping cart stuffed full of things. Like you can see the bottom of my cart, and it's not one of the express lanes. It's just a self checkout. I mean, even if I did have a cart stuffed full of shit, I could still check out here. And so as I'm wrapping it up, right, I've paid, and it's asking me all the stupid, questions before it spits my receipt out. And as I'm paying and I'm getting ready to pay, I'm putting stuff in my cart. So I only had like 2 bags left. And this broad walks over because she sees I'm almost done, and she just stands there. And it's this little old, I shouldn't say little old, this older woman, and with the 1930s housewife hair, like, stuck to her head, just standing there at her cart looking at me like I'm like, heifer, I will stand here until we both die. Like, she had Karen, she was like giving off Karen vibes, and I was like, I'm just gonna put my stuff in my cart before I get into an altercation in a Walmart and end up on YouTube for that.
I've only come into it over the phone, and it was my mortgage, and I called in on my mortgage to pay, and they took I guess either my routing number or my account number down wrong, and then they called me like 2 days before the end of the month, and she was like, "You're blah blah blah, didn't go through, and yada yada yada, and we're gonna come take your house from you." And I was like, "Yo," I was like,
"No, you're not."
Yeah, I was like, "Yo, back." I was like, "What?" Okay, so I dug down to the bottom of it, and she's like, "Oh yeah, it did come up as being entered differently than the same way it's been done for the last 20 freaking years." And I'm like, "Yeah." So
maybe look at that.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, and she's like, "Well, you need to be on time next month," and blah blah blah. And I was like, "Okay." And she's like, anyway, it was a long ordeal, but it was I ended up hanging up on her like 3 times. I was like, she's like, "You better," and I was like, "Ding."
You better what? You better shut
up, bitch. Better what? What are you gonna do? Show up?
You're gonna show up and try to take my house from me?
Yeah, show up.
That's
and
not
show
how
up.
it works. That's not how it works. Are you personally gonna show up? Is it gonna be you, Karen?
And I was like, I even told her, I was like, "Dude, I've been paying this mortgage longer than you've been alive." Like, because you could tell she was a young chick.
I will say that I have encountered, so most of the Karen types that I've encountered were dudes.
Really?
Like, really aggressive men. Yeah.
So Kyle's.
Yeah, Kyle.
Those are Kyle's.
Like, and it's always been over whether or not I speak Spanish.
Oh, yeah.
Always been over, which I do not, by the way, speak Spanish. Right. And I mean, I understand. My mom used to speak it to me. My mom still speaks it to me. But I can't communicate. And I don't even 100% understand what she's saying to me. I'm like, okay. I think you said this, and then I'll answer her in English. So,
right.
Yeah, there's this one. So when I was in my 20s, I worked at Neiman Marcus. And I happened to be on the sales floor at one of the stores. And this dude walked up to me and just starts rattling shit off to me in Spanish. And I remember, because I was talking to somebody, he completely ignored the fact that I'm in a conversation with someone. and just blah, 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 like just talking to me. And I just looked at him because I had no idea what the hell this man was saying to me. And the lady I was in a conversation with goes, I think he's asking you where the restrooms are located. I have no. All I know is like from Encino Man, right?
Right.
You remember that movie? ¿Dónde está el sanitario?
El biblioteca.
Yeah, it's Roja. So, I looked at him and I said, I'm sorry, I don't speak Spanish. And he goes, then he like rattles off, well, sprechen Sie Deutsch, which I actually do. I speak German. So then I answered him in German, and then he looked at me and I had lobsters crawling out of my ears. Like, well, sprechen Sie Deutsch? Like, do you speak it, asshole? Don't fucking ask me in German if you're not prepared for me to answer your ass in German, right? Smart ass. And then I looked at him and I said, it's on the 3rd floor. The escalators. I mean, fuck you. Like, what the hell? And then there was another time I couldn't have been like 20 years old working in some department store, right? And this like Hispanic dude walks up and again just starts rattling off to me in Spanish. And I looked at him and I said, dude, I am sorry. I don't speak Spanish. And then he got all offended at me. He got mad at me. He's like, well, why not? And I was like, well, why should I? I don't sound good. And he goes, well, that's your heritage. I was like, you don't know my heritage. You don't know my heritage.
Did you just assume my heritage?
Yes. Did you just assume? And this is back before, obviously, like,
right.
This was in like 93. I was like 20. And I'm like, who the hell do you think you are, sir? You don't know my heritage. I could be Italian. Fuck you.
Right. That's pretty bold for back then.
Yeah. Like guys would like, it was always men. Men would get real aggressive with me. And I'm not the one. I'm not the one.
Yeah.
And, like if I think you're trying to get a reaction out of me, you will get none.
Yeah.
I was married to a psychopath. Your shit doesn't scare me.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. I go either in like verbal or physical confrontations. Once I go quiet, that's when like it's
if I start down, giggling, I'm debating. If I'm giggling, if I say if I start looking around and laughing, I'm debating like how many witnesses. I'm not even kidding. I'm looking at how many witnesses. What's my likelihood of going to jail? Can I beat the rap? Is somebody going to fucking phone on him? Like I am scoping. I'm like I'm checking out the vicinity.
Yeah. Same with it, like in on the highway or whatever. If someone's like, well, because we have farm to market roads out here, so it's 2-lane roads.
Right.
So you only have one lane that you're in, and like if someone starts like riding my ass, you know what I mean? I'll let off the gas. I'll just start crawling down like to 45, 40, like, and then they zoom around. They're like, fuck, and I'm like, you're mad. Pardon me, I do have like allergies are kicking my ass, so I have like a runny nose. So don't make fun of me for. I swear I'm not on the sauce. I'm just. Yeah, I didn't do a fat rail before the show. So I thought about it. I missed one last night.
Weird news
on
headlines?
Your show. Yeah, it was they moved Annabelle to the French Quarter. Have you seen this?
Did. I have not seen that.
Yeah, they moved Annabelle to the French Quarter, and all the like voodoo priestess and such and whatnots, they're hella pissed off about it, and they're out there outside of whatever shop they moved her to, and they're sitting there doing all their voodoo, ritual stuff, and They are not happy about it, which I can understand. You know.
I wonder where she is residing in the French Quarter.
I don't know, but it looked familiar to me. The street looked familiar to me, but dude, it's been so freaking long. I couldn't even begin to tell you. I want to say maybe off a canal or something, because like
Okay,
the way
well, that's a big ass street running right.
well, yeah, I mean, but like off to the, I'd say the north side of canal, because
Up the
whenever you
rampart.
look, yeah, when you look down the street, you see that one. I think it's like the biggest skyscraper in New Orleans. It's like right in the background. So you're seeing like, I guess, the north side of downtown, something like
Okay,
that. Yeah.
let's see. Let me Google Annabelle in the French Quarter. Annabelle takes a vacation.
I think they sold it or something.
Sure, the Warrens are stoked over that. Annabelle in New Orleans story. Let's see. Put my fucking glasses back on because I can't see shit. Annabelle, the real doll that inspired the Conjuring movies, was recently on display in New Orleans as a part of an event hosted by Ghost City Tours. Visitors had a rare opportunity to see the doll up close for 2 nights, May 13th and 14th. This was the first time the real Annabelle doll had appeared in New Orleans, and it was a limited time event.
Oh, okay.
But that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Everybody who wants to go see a possessed Raggedy Ann doll had the opportunity.
Yeah, there you go.
I used to have a Raggedy Ann doll. I remember it. It
I
didn't
did
get up
not.
and start talking to me, though.
I didn't have a Raggedy Ann or Raggedy Andy doll. I think I got a, yeah, it was from a Goodwill. My Meemaw took me, and I got a Teddy Ruxpin from Goodwill, and I didn't have it.
The fucking devil.
Yeah, but I didn't have the actual cassettes for it, so I just play Dr. Feelgood, and you know. So like my Teddy Ruxpin was jamming hair metal bands. It was pretty cool.
See, okay, so it might have been my mother. Somebody bought my son Riley, my oldest son, when he was like 4 or 5, a Teddy Ruxpin. And the minute that thing started talking, you would think that the devil himself crawled out of the couch and started trying to have a conversation with my son. He flipped his shit. He this look of horror that washed over his face that his doll was freaking moving on its he started screaming and backing away. I mean, screaming and backing away. And I just remember poor baby, the trauma. I remember laughing, but then thinking that's cruel. I can't, I had to hide the damn thing because I don't want to, traumatize my child. Because here's the thing. When I was a little girl, I loved, for whatever reason, Grimace specifically from McDonald's, right?
McDonald's, yeah, right.
So my parents got me a Grimace puppet or something. I lost my goddamn mind, apparently. And I remember the nightmares that I had about Grimace. I remember as an adult, the nightmares I had as a 2-year-old about Grimace. And for my birthday, instead of me opening a Grimace hand puppet or something, my dad hid behind the couch with Grimace, and there must have been another one because I vaguely remember them on the couch, which I'm sure contributed to my nightmares. Lost my shit, and they had to throw them away. Yeah, good job trying to be good parents, and your kid loses it.
Dude, I was watching this. I forgot the name of the dude. I watch him every once in a while, and it's him and his dad. And his dad's old school, Gen Xer, redneckish type of dude. And so he's like, Dad, when I was a kid, was the worst thing I was scared of. He was like, oh, it was Chucky. And so, long story short, the dad was watching Chucky when it first came out on VHS, and he didn't know it, but the kid snuck out and was watching it from like behind the couch, and got scared as hell from it, right? So he went and he got his My Buddy doll and he threw it away. Like he threw it in the trash. Yeah. Threw it in the trash can. But the dad didn't know. So like later on that night or whatever, he's like saw the My Buddy doll in the trash can. I was like, what the hell? And went and put it back on his dresser. And so kid woke up, freaked out. Dad was already at work. And mom called and was like, dude, what the, and he's like, oh, I didn't know, blah, blah, blah. And so he was like, huh. So the kid and the mom, they went, yeah,
the Peter Griffin laugh.
Yeah. They went and buried the My Buddy doll in the backyard.
They buried it.
Yeah. So later that next night when the dad got home, he heard about what they did and he was like, sweet. And
even more trauma for the child. Okay.
Yeah, and he went and dug it up and put it back on his dresser while he was sleeping. And so like evil. Yeah, so like day number 3 or whatever, the wife calls and was like, dude, he's like, he told the wife like, dude, I had to mess with the kid. So the kid went and burnt the My Buddy doll. And he took same thing later on and buried him. He went and he super glued them back together and like took all the fabrics and like sewed them up and stitched them up. Yeah, and then put them back. And that kid was like, dude, I
like my kids way more than that.
I don't. I'd do that so hard if I knew. I totally would.
I guess it depends on the age of the children, but no, I'm not looking to pay for therapy for my children.
Right. Well,
into infinity.
But
I would pay for that therapy.
There was only one that freaked me out. My mom bought my youngest daughter one of those freaking like eerie freaking porcelain dolls, but it was like expensive as shit. I think she probably spent like $100 or $200 on it. Like it was an expensive, porcelain doll, but it was blood curdling, like even for an adult.
Did you see that doll that I found on Marketplace that I put on Facebook?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Oh my God, we got to show everybody. Hold on, let me get my Facebook page up. I bet it won't let me share it again.
What's up, Wedge? That was Monica, not me. She speaks for me.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just so used to YouTube.
My name is your name. It's all good.
Let's see. Present. Share screen. Share screen. Deny. Okay, Facebook. I think the coast is clear. There. Can you guys see it?
Yeah. The hair doll.
That was on Marketplace. Yeah, that is for sale on Marketplace. You cannot convince me that doll is not freaking possessed by the devil. Can't convince me. Can't do it? Yeah. Okay, my goddamn mouse is not working now. So, yeah, good times. Good times.
Great oldies.
Somebody's going to pay $40 to have the devil live in their house. That's how I see it.
Yeah. Okay, so I wanted to. This won't take long because I was gonna redo my research on it when I got home from work, and it's the dude's old, so he talks really slow, right? And so it takes a long time just to get from point A to point C. You know what I mean? So it was like I didn't really have too much time to recap it. And then this made me curious too, is because if you actually look it up, there's no, I think there's like 2 videos on it. You know, there's no
What
like,
is it?
this is about the tall whites. It's out of okay, so 1965 to 1967, this military dude named Charles Hall was stationed at Nellis Air Force Base outside of Las Vegas, right? And he was hired to do weather surveying at the base. So he would factor in like wind factors and from different atmospheric pressures and blah blah blah. You know, for what, I don't know, but so he encountered these alien beings called the tall whites.
Mm-hmm.
And there were 4 ranges that he had to cover. And so everyone was cool with like going to like range 1, you know, they're like, but as you got towards range 4, his predecessor, the dude he was relieving, getting trained from, like that dude wouldn't even go near it. Like he's like, nope, I'm not going anywhere near, because apparently they were like little shacks, and you stayed in the shack and you had your radars and equipment or whatever, antennae.
Okay.
And so you jot down the weather conditions and how things are going, and then you'd radio it in to the main station at the Air Force, you know, at the Air Force Base. And so he said that, yeah, once, you know, everything was kind of, he thought everyone was like playing jokes on him. I was like, oh, the new guy, let's spook him out. You know what I mean? And so once he started going solo, he'd be out there. And he said his first encounter was he was outside just taking a break, looking around. And later, Mickey.
Oh, night, Mickey.
Have a good night. And then he saw this like slinky, he said tall, looked really young, but tall for her age. Like beyond albino, little girl, white, like platinum white hair. Said her skin looked like it was like
a damned little kid.
Yeah.
Okay.
Said her skin was like almost translucent, and saw her like out of his peripherals, like playing in the bushes. Or it was in the sage bush. Right. So said he saw her playing around. And he's like, you know, he's way out in the middle of the freaking desert, you know, and he's like, starts walking up, and she's like running behind the sage bush, and he's like, hey, little girl, you lost? You need help? Blah blah blah. And like he caught a good eyeful of her, and was like, that's not human. Like,
right.
Yeah, that's yeah. So
go back to my my shanty. Time to go.
Yeah. Basically, yeah, he was like, he said he turned around and he was like, well, I'm gonna be over there if you need help or you need water or anything, just, you know, I'll be over there. Just come, you know, if you want to come inside or whatever. And he said he saw this real tall, a male, like running at him. He said that like he himself, like he couldn't get through the sagebrush. Like there was no, bless you, there was no trails or anything. But he said that they could like navigate it like it was, like they were zooming in and out of it. And he said this thing was like running at him full speed, and he kind of froze, and then it just like came like right up to him, and then banked like a left and went back into the sage and got where the girl was.
And it was running
at.
like the freaking Tasmanian devil at him.
Yeah, like full
Wow.
speed, like yeah.
You know what I imagine is like an engineer from the Alien movies, like Alien Romulus and all that. Like I imagine an engineer running at you in the middle of the desert, like skin so white it's translucent because their skin was crazy.
Yeah, that was a good freaking movie, dude.
Yeah. Oh, maybe not Romulus, but
no,
like
I know
which one.
Yeah, started with a P. Prometheus. Yeah. But yeah, so anyway, like he said, he went back to the barracks. It was either that night or a few nights after, and he's sleeping in the barracks, and he's not knowing like if his mind's playing tricks on him, or if like too much desert heat, like am I tripping, and said he couldn't sleep. He had like this restless kind of feeling. Got up, went to the bathroom, and he was like coming out of the bath. He said the way he describes it is like the halls with the beds, like we've seen in like pretty much every military movie. You got all the beds lined up on both sides, and then you have the latrine at the end. He said that he was walking out of the latrine, and right before the first bunk, there was a female with like a spear, like a white spear, like standing in the corner.
Great.
And he's like, walked right past her. And he's like, wait a minute, did I just see what I think I saw? Like, what the hell is that in the corner? And he's like, yeah, didn't pay it no mind. He's like, dude, I'm tripping. It's got he thought his account says that he actually thought he was losing his nugget and having like a mental breakdown.
Oh.
And so eventually, as time goes on, he starts seeing these things more and more running around outside the shacks or whatever. And then the male that was running at him in the beginning kind of reminds me of that what was that movie, Blood Tomahawk or
Bone Tomahawk.
Bone Tomahawk. Yeah,
I started watching that today.
That's a good flick. I love that movie.
I've seen it once and I just have the vaguest recollection of it. I need to watch it again.
Oh, you got to watch it again. It's freaking creepy. But yeah, so said that thing came running up to him, and it would. This is before it got to the point of telepathic speak, but they were just kind of like feeling each other out, and like he knew what he was saying, and Range 4 Harry is what he's called. That's what everyone nicknamed him as. And you gotta think like long freaking white albino hair, really slender, tall, and almost like the women had like almost crystalline, right, outfits, and same with the dudes, but there was almost like see-through, but it wasn't. And so anyway, Range 4 Harry shows up and starts like communicating with him non-telepathically, but like just with, I guess, vibes, emotions, whatever you want to call it. And eventually the relationship grew. Like he would go out there and watch the little kids run around and see the moms and the aunts, and and then eventually they started telepathically communicating, and he started telling the soldier Charles Hall all about the different species of aliens that have already made contact with humans on Earth. And he was talking about the Draconians and, you know, like, and the Greys and yada, yada, yada. And the one thing I found interesting, not to veer off, they sounded, when in the description, they sounded a lot like the alien race that Admiral Byrd met when he went into the hollowed earth in Antarctica. That the Aryans is what they were. That's what he called them. And that was before the Aryans were a thing, as far as we know, right? But
on our timeline anyway. Yeah, I got you.
Right. So yeah, so like he ended up having like a relationship with all these cats, and you know, like got to where he wasn't scared of them, and they were like his only friends out there, because they would send them way out there to these weather stations, and then he was there all alone for weeks at a time or months at a time. And then like in 1967 he was getting deployed to Vietnam, and he met the quote unquote love of his life, you know, like met her at a dance and blah blah blah, and you know, the rest is history. So
that's nice.
Yeah. But he didn't tell her about them until years later.
So he had her like on the hook, and she couldn't be like, okay.
Right, yeah. You're married now. It's too late. Check it out.
Too late for you.
Kurt Cobain used to come hang out at the guard shack with me. But yeah, so digging it, if y'all want to look into it, it's called Walking with the Tall Whites. There's a good documentary on it on YouTube.
Yeah, here, I've got it pulled up. I'll share my screen.
Oh, okay.
Let me try that. Cool little trick again there. Walking with the Tall Whites.
Just show the picture, because the video will get you.
Yeah. No, it's not showing the video. It's just a picture.
Okay.
It's my Amazon page, essentially. So
yeah.
There you go.
And it's a cool little rabbit hole to go down. The thing that, and if y'all watch it, let me know your feedback, because one of the things about it is when you watch his body language, he doesn't shift. You know what I mean? Like it looks to me like if I was trying to be a human lie detector, like it's legit. Like he's always looking
inside. He's not wiggly.
Right.
Yeah. He's not tapping anything. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like when he looks into his memory, just like I do, I always like look to the right and up.
I don't look any one particular direction if I'm remembering something. I'll look down, I'll look up. I'm just whatever strikes me. Because I try to pay attention to that, because I've heard that if somebody's lying, they'll look a certain direction, or if they're trying to recall something, they'll look a certain
or they'll blink. You know, they'll blink too much, or and I'm like, dude, I got allergies. I'll be like, you know, yeah. Doesn't mean I'm lying. It means I got snot coming out of my eyeballs.
Right.
But which I kind of do now.
Just means you're trying to kill me.
Right. But so, like, as far as his body language and everything goes, and his vocal tone staying the same, it looks very legit. Like by that, I buy.
Well, it's an interesting story for sure. And you know, I was listening because, you know, I'm a TikTok fiend. I got on some alien rabbit hole with TikTok because my husband is like just insanely interested in alien stories, where I'm kind of like, meh, like I can take it or leave it. Like I'm not overly interested in it. But I think it was like early fall. I was out gardening and I was thinning out my one of the flower beds because the tubers had like gone nuts. Anyway, I'm out there and I'm like elbow deep in dirt and I can't really switch like what I'm listening to. So it's just going like repeating, and then I'd have to, walk over and flip up. And it was just, because I had it on repeat so long, the algorithm's like, oh, she's really interested in this. So
Yeah.
it started playing alien stories. And I ended up listening to this guy, and I can't remember who the interviewer was, who the interviewee was, but he was a guy who was supposedly at one of the Air Force bases out there in the desert. And he said that they had aliens like captive, essentially, like underground. And the ones that they had were insectoid, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
And he was talking about how incredibly dangerous they were. And one of them broke out, killed a guard or two escaping, and got out of the main facility. And they ended up catching it. And I want to say they ended up taking it out.
Right.
And he got in trouble for taking it out. Like, I guess it was alive. They wanted it alive, but it was so aggressive. They couldn't recapture it any other way. And I remember him talking about that story, and the person who was interviewing him was like, well, were they hostile? What did they do? And he's like, well, they could communicate to you telepathically, and like they would act like they weren't hostile, and then they would become super aggressive. But, to be fair, who wouldn't get fucking super aggressive if they're kidnapped and thrown underground for God knows how long? Like, I'd be pissed off too, trying to get out.
Yeah.
I mean, and it drives me nuts that I can't remember who it was, but it was like some guy. He was a government guy, like a military guy, who was reporting this, but I can't remember the name. And it drives me nuts because I kind of want to go back and re-listen to that story, because I was just, I'm hearing it and I'm digging through my irises, and at first I was only half-ass paying attention, but the more time I spent like digging around in the ground, and I'm flipping through it wasn't continuously on his story. I'd go like a story or two, and then it would catch up to the next segment.
Catch back to his, yeah.
So, I mean, I heard it in bits and pieces, but I got really interested in it, and gosh darn it, I cannot remember who that was. But yeah, it was interesting. And that, for some reason, what you're talking about today made me think of the dude who talked about having them like underground captive.
Yeah. And especially like if you think about it, if these things are interterrestrial, extraterrestrial, interdimensional, whatever, they're obviously like on a higher plane than we are. So like that'd be like kind of like Planet of the Apes type thing, where you get kidnapped and imprisoned by a bunch of freaking apes, and you're smarter than them, and your whole species is higher up than they are, and they got you locked. They got you on lock. You know what I mean? Like, I'd be hella pissed, dude.
Yeah, I'd be super aggressive too. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'd be like, "Oh, y'all!" Yeah. Like, what the hell? You're minding my own business. Somebody bops me over the head, and the next thing I know, I'm in an underground bunker.
Yeah, I'd go Junebug on their ass. Be like, bam, bam. Watch this. I'm gonna smack your TV screen.
Like, I'd act friendly too, and then get super aggressive on the way out the door. Like,
yeah.
I can't really blame this alien. Not that I want it loose anywhere near me. I don't know what its normal, like, personality might be, but yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
He's like Mr. Bean in the, in the convertible.
Yeah.
There's a bird for you, and a bird for you, and a bird for you.
For real. Well, so the idea of it, I wouldn't kick it out of bed. The body language from this dude seemed legit to me. Sure. My hang up on it was the part where I went, all right, like here we go, here we go with the add-ons. Was later on in his older age. He was out of a job for like 18 months and wrote this book.
Yeah.
Right. About this whole thing.
Well,
and it's what
mentioned on there, like Millennial Hospitality or something like that is the name of the book.
Yeah. Millennial Hospitality. Yeah. And so, and then his wife said that she had no idea that he was writing it, but he'd been writing it for, again, the number 18 years, right? And he was unemployed for 18 months and finally finished the book. And he didn't know if he wanted to put it out. And the wife was like, well, if the Men in Black come get you, then go ahead and stay there because you're going to have three hots and a cot. You know what I mean? Like you'll have a place to live, In other words, you won't be broke and worrying about money. You'll be in prison by the Men in Black, right? So that to me, just like when we did the episode about the Warrens, that to me gives motive, right? Like right. You didn't come out with it whenever you were high on the hog and come out with a book and don't nobody care if anybody believes you or not. You're actually you're propagating for monetary value.
Sure.
Because you're broke. Like if I'm broke and you push me to a point, I'll spin a yarn so so deep that you're gonna want to sit around the campfire with me. You know what I mean? Right. So I guess that was my only suspect part about it. Because, like me and you talk about a lot, I'm not here to deny anybody's experience on anything. I'm not going to sit there and call somebody a liar just because I don't believe in what they saw, unless they give me a very good reason to. Like if the story slips to a point where it's like, wait, but I thought he was in front of you and then he hit you from behind, like, right. Now we're, now, wait a minute. How do you get, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you.
Logic. Yeah, adding logic to it. So, yeah, for anybody out there who's interested, tell us what you think, because I have my ups and downs about it. Part of me wants to, kind of like the Blair Witch Project. I really wanted to believe it's real, but
that would be cool if it was real.
Not. Hell yeah.
Maybe not cool for the people that ended up dead on that rock, but
Right, yeah. Now I've said it before, I think on here, right before that movie came out, like, because they had all those, they had like the sci-fi documentary on it and all this other stuff, and they came out on the MTV, what was it called? It was like the Teen Award thing. Video Music Awards.
The Teen Choice Awards?
Yeah, like the Teen Choice Awards or something.
Okay. Or the Music Award. The movie awards. The MTV had a movie awards.
It was something like that. Yeah, and it was like 3 days before I was going to go watch it in the theater. And I'm like, no. Because they had the actors, they were there, And I was like, no, they're dead. I don't want to hear it. It's all real. Yeah, but.
Yeah, I remember the early days of the internet where I'm trying to sleuth out, like, was that real? Because, I mean, the Blair Witch, when it came out, was very, like, the found footage thing was very new.
Yeah.
And it seemed like if it was done well, it seemed like completely plausible if you believe in legends and things like that. And, part of me was like just like you, like, I want so bad for this to be legit. But then again, like, why would like actual found footage be floating around in a movie theater?
Yeah.
And how come I've never ever, I mean, not that I know every single legend ever, but it seemed like a pretty big thing. How come I hadn't heard of it? You know?
Right.
So I was like, is this real? Is this, like, I remember trying to dig in, like do some research and figure out, like, is it fictitious? Like not the movie necessarily itself and the kid's story, but
The
like
legend of it.
the
Right.
base of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Like the Bell Witch is the
yeah.
Blair Witch and everything. Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously we all know about the Bell Witch. That's, I think, pretty common knowledge. But yeah, trying to figure out, I was like, because this Blair Witch broad, she's badass. Like I need to know if I need to be booking a trip up to the New York Catskill, like see what's going on up there.
Yeah, I'd be like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, you're the one that stays home, and I'm the one who's like texting her, like, let's go look in that bush that made a weird noise.
No, I'll go with y'all, but I'm gonna be just chilling in the car doing shots and be
You're
like,
gonna be the one going, I got a bad feeling. I got a bad feeling.
I heard Monica scream.
But I'll tell you what, like if something spooks me enough, I will be like, yep, it's time to go. Let's leave. I've seen this horror movie. I ain't trying to die tonight. Let's go.
Dude, I saw a funny one. It was a short reel or whatever. And it was like, you know, title words just like if horror movies were true. And it showed like a family and they're carrying their luggage into like a vacation cabin. Mm-hmm. And they're like, they walk in and they're like, oh, it's so beautiful. Look at look how beautiful the cabin is and blah, blah, blah. It's so not eclectic, but old school stuff. Yeah, there you go, rustic. Yeah, and like they hear like a little baby's voice or something. It's like, hello. And he's like, yep, nope. I'll just walk around.
Look at the time. It's time to leave already.
It's like the end. And I'm like, yep. Exactly.
Yep. I'll tell you what, if I get a whiff of something that I ain't dying that way.
Yeah, no shit.
And let me tell you what, if I'm ever in a like serial killer situation, if I make it to where I think we are near the end of the movie that is playing out in my head as people are stacking up around me, when I run, I high step it because I ain't tripping over your dead body. You ain't taking me down with you. I'm not going to be one of those girls who runs like 3 feet and goes, and then lays there for like 5 minutes and screams while the
my ankle
walks towards them. I'm high stepping it.
Yeah. I have to stand my ground because I got about like 30 seconds of running in me.
I didn't say I'd get far, but I'm high stepping. I just got to outrun the slowest one of you people until I can find a good hiding place.
I'm like, I can make it to the gate, but that's it. And that's
so I don't know if you knew about this, like back in the early 2000s, right? Maybe like between 2000 and 2010, let's say, there was a camp like here in the Dallas area, and they had them all over the US, but it was like a horror movie survival camp. And they'd give you alcohol, and they had safe zones. They had safe zones where, you couldn't be touched, but otherwise, like, they wouldn't kill you, but they would put their hands on your ass. And they would legit, like, Michael Myers, like Jason Voorhees, stalk your ass through the woods all night. And there were multiple of them. Did you ever hear about that?
I never have, but I would have been, as a kid, I would have been great at that.
Yeah. Because I mean, I was, in my prime, and I was like, I couldn't get anybody to go with me.
Yeah, no, when I was young, I could never understand how people can get caught. Like, like we used to, I'm sure you played killer cars when you were a kid too. Like if you're out walking down the street past curfew or whatever they want to call it, but late, middle of the night, and you see headlights, and you dive in, you jump, and you can, like I remember one time
I just called it hiding from the police because I didn't know if that was a cop or not.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And I remember one time it was actual gangsters that were trying. It was like me and like 5 other kids. And we were going through the hood, and these people they were like gunning for us. They were older cats, and because I think I was maybe like 14, 15, something like that, and they were like 20-year-olds. And I remember they chased us to like the edge of the road at this house, and everybody made it over the privacy fence, but I was fat, so like I couldn't make it over the privacy road. But you wear all black at night. That's just part of the thing. So I literally laid down on my side and wrapped myself and like hugged my knees around a tree, like I was the base of the tree. And they like ran up to the privacy fence, like right past me. They're like, yo, they jumped the fence, go around the blah, blah, blah. Ran right past me again, got in the car, and then went around the other side. And I was like, sweet.
Oh my gosh.
I'm camouflaged.
Yeah, I didn't have anybody actually chasing my ass down. But yeah, when I was out, like when I wasn't supposed to be, if I saw any kind of headlights, I would duck. And one time it was my dad coming back from maneuvers. He must have been on maneuvers. And I remember it was like 1:30 in the morning, and my dad was turning down the street right as a cop car came. Like my dad is making a turn this way, and the cop's coming this way. And and I'm hiding behind like a Goodyear tire sign because I see my dad in the car.
Right.
And I'm like 12, 13. And that cop lit my ass up on that sign.
Oh.
And I am so like, my dad like was far enough down the road that he didn't notice that it was his daughter. And as soon as I jumped out of the bushes and got away from the sign, the cop turned his light off and went about his business. Did not give a shit that there was a 13-year-old little girl, tiny little girl on the streets hiding in bushes and shit. So, he didn't care. He did not care. He just didn't want me near the sign.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I got a bunch of those. One time we actually had Travis County Sheriff. They brought, because we were causing a lot of vandalization in the neighborhood for like a long string of time, and they actually brought out dogs and helicopters, and because they cornered us at the edge of Walnut Creek off of I-35.
Oh my gosh.
And so we were like, I remember we were all out in the field, and we were like, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? It was like 4 of us. And you just hear, like, we're talking, and you can hear dogs off in the distance, and we already outran all of them and jumped fences. and you just hear tick, 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 and like we're in the middle of a field, and you just see the light, we're like, scattered like roaches. Yeah, we all went like in all 4 directions of the compass. Yeah,
I remember. Yeah. Okay, I remember house parties as a teenager, and the cops would show up. The very first house party I ever went to as a teenager, Mike Anderson, God rest his soul. Everybody was. They fucked that boy's house up. Like his parents came and took his ass out of school when they got home. But yeah, first house party I was ever at, there was like kegs in the backyard. People were microwaving weird shit. Somebody put their foot through I don't know how they got in his attic, but they put their foot through the ceiling. Through the drywall of the ceiling. And yeah, I just remember somebody's yelling cops, and then it was like a cartoon, like, the house is full and then everybody runs out in the house. That's what it felt like. Like suddenly there was nobody, and kids were running through fields. They were hopping fences. There was like 4 squad cars, right, trying to nab whoever.
Yeah.
You know, 3 of the kids I knew were like so stoned that upstairs they couldn't even stand up. Yeah, on your own.
Yeah. I've been in a few of those. Yeah. Yeah. I remember one time me and my buddy Ryan, man, we went and the house got raided and we made it out the back door, but we hopped the front fence and went and hid under the 2 parked cars at the curb, and it just like laid under and like the cars were like back to back with each other. So I'm like, dude, where did you know, like we're like silently talking and the cops are like walking back and forth, like right next to us, and we're like, dude, we're screwed, dude. And he's like, dude, just shut up. Yeah, shut up. And I'm like, you shut up. When I get out of here, I'm gonna kick your ass. Yeah, great stuff.
Yeah. I remember my house party that I had, like the cops didn't show up until everybody had left. And at that point, my friends were going up and down the street with bags full of beer bottles and alcohol bottles and throwing them in because trash pickup was the next morning. And they were throwing them in all the neighbors' trash cans. And the cop showed up and my friend Sasha tried to pretend to be my sister because I was fucked up. I couldn't talk straight. And the cops were like, well, there's a noise complaint. And I was like, okay. And they're like, do your parents know you have kids over? And technically my parents knew I was having some friends over. I just didn't mention it was like 200 people. So I wasn't lying when I said, yeah, my parents know there are people here. And yeah, they asked for Sasha's ID and she was like, well, I don't have it. And they're like, okay, well, go get your older sister. And I was like, thanks. So then I had to like produce my ID, pretend to be.
You had an ID? Nice.
Yeah. Let's see.
No, that one where we hid under the thing, with the reason why the cops got called wasn't really because of the party. Like everyone went, you know, like acting a fool, but we invited these 2 dudes from school that we barely knew. And they were like, oh yeah, we're gonna go walk around your neighborhood, blah blah blah. And we're like, all right, man, just, you know, it's not the nicest neighborhood in the world, you know. And apparently they went out with a can of gas and started making crosses in people's yards and lighting them on fire. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. And so like we're chilling at the house and the police come and me and Ryan book it out the back door, and like my homeboy Andy, from what I heard, he was passed out hard on the couch, and the cops were like trying to wake him up, you know, and like, get the fuck out, blah blah, and he thought it was us, you know, so he's like half asleep, and he jumps up and starts squabbling, you know. But it's the cops, you know.
Why are you in my house?
Yeah.
Out of my house.
Yeah, well, they didn't find us.
You got probable cause to come in my goddamn house.
Yeah. Well, back then, you know.
Thing that like my teachers in elementary or not junior high and high school, like I had a few teachers that made damn sure we knew like what constituted probable cause, because I grew up in hippie country and they did not like the police.
Yeah, no, we didn't. Wedge says it's even worse when the cops are young enough to chase you.
Yeah,
dude, that is absolutely true. When I lived in Austin, all the cops were like old fat dudes, so like you could outrun them like it was nobody's business. And then I moved up to Williamson County up in Round Rock, and I remember the first time getting chased by those cops, me and Ryan, dude, though they were like Terminator 2 dudes, man. They were just, yeah, we were like, dude, like, and we were going through ditches and jumping fences and you know, like trying to just get drainage ditches and all that, trying to get away. And dude, they were on I was like, those are the fastest cops. We got away, but fastest cops I've ever seen in my life. Like, I was like, yeah, I'm not doing any more foot chases with these assholes.
So have you heard it's the Lawyers Guild. It's these two attorneys. One of them since passed away. This is an old PSA, but it's the shut the fuck up attorneys.
No, maybe.
So if I share my screen and play it, I don't want you to get tagged. So I'm not sure if I want to, but it's hilarious and it's actually true.
Is it YouTube?
Yeah, it's YouTube.
Then yeah, they'll tag you instantly.
Crap.
The AI will tag you.
Well,
but if you find it on any other public domain, then it's all good.
Let me see if I can find it because it's shut the F up. It's the National Lawyers Guild. Shut the F up. So let me
go for it. I gotta blow my nose real quick because I'm freaking leaking.
You do that, sir. NLG.
Great. Now Jim's gonna be like, why is that white towel by your chair got white stuff on it?
Oh, great.
I swear, babe, it's not.
Oh, it all goes back to YouTube. Anyway, it's got a transcript. I can read it to you.
Okay.
So it's two attorneys, so I'm going to obviously be reading both parts, but it says, where does it start here? It says, together we've been fighting fascism for over 50 years, and so much has changed over those 50 years, such as the ingredients to a successful firebomb and the glass that bank windows are made of. But there's one important thing that hasn't changed in over 50 years, something that is so important to tell you kids who are new to this movement. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Sitting in a police transport van after a protest, shut the fuck up. In a holding cell with your comrades, shut the fuck up. Cop knocks on your door, shut the fuck up. Texting on an unsecured device, shut the fuck up. Pulled over by the cops after a protest, shut the fuck up. Cop asking about your day, shut the fuck up. Feds call your mom, tell your mother to shut the fuck up. When the cops come calling, shut the fuck up. So,
yeah.
That's it.
That's the gist of it.
Shut up. They ask you anything, shut up. If they try to question you or detain you, lawyer time. I'm not saying shit without my attorney. Are you holding me? Yes, no. Hopefully they don't suspend habeas corpus. I will lose my shit if they do that. You know,
yeah.
shut the fuck up.
Yeah, no shit, man. I never learned that as a kid. And I mean, it was never talk to cops, blah, blah, blah. Never say what's going on, like within the house type stuff. But it, on my end, it wasn't like, these are your legal rights. It was more of a, you don't narc, you don't.
Well, I mean, yeah, snitches get stitches.
Yeah,
you learn that
exactly.
Fucking fast. But I was fortunate enough to grow up in an area where like any kind of authority was like not appreciated.
Yeah.
I remember when like several adults and they were teachers really. They were like, okay, so this is probable cause. This is not probable cause. I took criminal justice.
Were you going to be
and
Batman?
They were going through what constitutes probable cause and what doesn't constitute probable cause. Huh?
So what were you going to be, Batman? It's a joke.
No.
It's from Clerks too. He's like, I mean, for Christ's sake,
Clerks. I told you that. I'm a Mallrats girl. I never got into Clerks.
Dude, well, part 2 when they get busted, he's like, they're talking about their life, and he's like, for Christ's sakes, man, we took criminal justice. What the fuck were we going to be, Batman?
No, but you'll know exactly what they can and can't do if you take the fucking class. I can tell you that.
No, it just reminded me.
Irritating to have to fucking memorize the penal codes. That sucks.
No, it just sprung the quote on me. I couldn't go without.
Wedge says nobody talks, everybody walks.
Right.
Shut the fuck up.
Yep. But okay, so man, we shifted gears hard on that one.
Yeah, we did. And how we got to
Which
let
I
you
don't
in the
like.
back of the criminal transport van. Shut
Right.
the fuck up.
But that's what we do here on the Speakeasy. I mean, you know, it's all open and having fun.
Years in front of us.
But yeah, so okay, let's get into some movies, because I've been seeing. I got, you're talking about the alien algorithm type thing.
Yeah.
I got on a new horror movie algorithm for some freaking reason.
Okay.
Have you seen any new ones that are coming up that you really want to check it out?
I saw Sinners, and I talked ad nauseum about that. I love that. I cannot recommend that movie enough. I love that movie.
I'm going Tuesday.
So good. After you see it, man, you gotta hit me up and tell me what you thought about it. Because I really love that movie. I did see Heart Eyes sober the other day. Even though you recommended I not be when I see it. It wasn't that bad. It was, it's like a Gen Z slasher flick. It's not what you and I would consider awesomeness, but for a group of kids that weren't raised in the 80s, it's 80-esque, right?
Yeah. No, it was like that German photo. It was hard for me to swallow. But I dug it after a few shots.
I gotta say, like, I kind of dig a killer that goes from city to city randomly, popping up every Valentine's Day, just murdering the hell out of loving couples, because I think Valentine's Day is bullshit.
Yeah.
Single or not, never got into it. Thought it was stupid. And I'm a very anti-Valentine's Day person, but I was like, I can dig a slasher that's doing that. And it's random. It's not like the same city every year. Like he's in Boston one year and Seattle the next and Philadelphia. Like he's zigzagging the country.
And he's randomly picking the couples,
Yeah.
So it's like,
okay, you look happy, you gotta die.
Yeah. But have you seen any like trailers for any new ones that you want to check out? Because what brings this up is I went through the algorithm.
Yeah, there's a remake coming out, and I'm just blanked on which one it was. There's oh god damn it. It's like it's not a remake, it's like a continuation of the original, and God bless it.
Final Destination?
No.
I want to see that one.
I wouldn't get excited about that. I wasn't a fan of Final Destination.
Really?
Mm-mm.
I mean, I wasn't a fan after part 2, but
I like the first one. I didn't like any of the subsequent ones.
Dude, the log truck scene. Okay,
so I get that, but I mean, just you cheat death and then death comes after you. I get it. It's cool, but I mean, for me, it was very shit. I am blanking out. It's like on the tip of my tongue. The movie that I think it was like. It's like what she said. Urban Legends. It was very urban legend-y.
Okay.
Feel for me, and I didn't like urban legends.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So yeah. I mean, maybe that's why I didn't like Final Des. I mean, the first one was interesting to watch, but I didn't need a whole franchise of it. Just like I didn't need a whole franchise of urban legends. What are they? God damn it! What movie is that? Now it's pissing me off because I can kind of see the poster in my head. Let's see. Monkey Shines.
Breed, Popeye, Hard Eyes. Why is it showing me that? I've already seen that.
I want to see the monkey. That one's going to be good.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I see it every morning, but yeah. Sometimes I have to spank it, But no, I want to see that one. I'd be interested in it.
Like, Ready or Not 2. Because I liked Ready or Not.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Okay, so it's about so this chick marries into a wealthy family, and she genuinely loves her husband, right? His family is this like Hasbro, like they make board games, and that's their fortune, right? Is built.
Okay.
Well, they kind of worship the devil, and whenever
just a little
tidbit. So anytime somebody marries into the family, they have to play a game, right? Because the games are what built this family's fortune.
Oh, okay. I know. Yeah.
And Mr. Scratch or whatever his name is. Yeah. And she draws the one card where they all have to hunt her and if she doesn't die by the time the sun comes up, they all die in her place. So it only happens when it's a true love match, though. All the other ones had to play like Old Maid or some bullshit. But it happened to the groom's aunt on her wedding night, and she genuinely loved that guy. And this bride and groom genuinely love each other, so the devil's trying to kill her to make him miserable. So I really liked that movie. And there's a part 2 coming out.
Right on. Don't worry about it, Jason. You're good, brother. I ain't tripping a bit. No, I got that. See, I saw the preview for that, and I really wanted to watch it, and then I got it mixed up with Knives Out. You know what I mean? Like Knives Out.
Oh, Knives Out. I love Knives Out. Yeah.
See, I got it mixed up with that, and I started watching. I was like, this isn't the one I was. And then I couldn't remember, I couldn't remember the original one. So it's Ready or Not. So, okay, I'm going to have to.
Yeah, I mean, Knives Out isn't really a horror movie. It's a whodunit, but man, I love Knives Out.
Yeah, it's like Clue.
It's like one of the movies I can watch over and over and over again.
Okay.
I love it.
See, so I started watching it, and I was like, this ain't the fucking movie I was thinking about. And so I excommunicated it.
And I always think of hide and seek, right? Because that's the game they're playing essentially.
Yeah, because that's the one where she comes back in the trailer. She comes back and she's got the gun, and the dude's gonna kill her, and she's kind of surprise, boom, and blows him away.
Surprise, motherfucker!
Yeah, she starts taking motherfuckers out. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're like, "How did she get a gun?" And they're killing all the maids.
Yeah. Sweet, dude. You just solved a fucking mystery for me. Because I've been trying to figure that one out for that came out a couple of years ago. So yeah, I've been trying to figure that one out for a solid minute.
Ready or Not.
Yeah, I'm on it.
And then there is, what's the other one that's coming out? Let's see, horror movies 2025. None of these look good.
Until Dawn looks dope to me.
So there's another Wolfman coming out. Or is that the one that did come out? I don't know. Which was interesting. I did see that.
Lighter Spark. Oh, the new one with the chick from what was that? Ozark?
I don't know. She looks like a 12-year-old boy to me.
The little blonde chick, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was in Ozark. She played a bad bitch in Ozark. She was fucking badass.
Okay, well, none of these look good.
She didn't look like a 12-year-old boy to me.
She looks like a 12-year-old boy to me.
Well, no, not to me, because that would cause all kinds of weird.
There's a lot of there's Kilgren. That looks interesting. There's something called Candlewood. I'm just going by posters, right? Like we did back in the Blockbuster days.
Yeah. Now there's another one called Cryptid with the K. Okay. It looks fucking dope.
There's like a Popeye. There's two that look like potential Popeye horror movies. One's called Popeye's Revenge. That's a clear Popeye one. The other one's called
Popeye the
Shiver
Player
Me
Man.
Timbers.
Yeah.
And then there's this creepy ass one called Home Sweet Home. You see it? Looks like a zombie kind of.
Well,
And
if you
then
name it after a
Hard Eye.
Motley Crue song, I'm watching it.
Death of the Unicorn. There's Ash. Now, what is this? So, that's interesting. So, horror movies. Let's look at horror movies 2026. Now, I will say, and this is, I know you're going to roll your eyes because it's such a chick flick, but Practical Magic 2 is coming out, and I'm super stoked about that.
I don't know what that is.
Practical Magic with Sandra Bullock and the Australian chick that was married to Tom Cruise, Nicole Kidman.
Then I'd roll my eyes. Jen would love it, but I would.
Okay, next year looks more promising. Way more promising. Oh, there's the new Jurassic Park that's coming out. I do want to see that.
Jen's pissed off because she just found out about it today. She's a huge Jurassic Park fan. Dude, I remember one time me and her, we were both drunk to the gills. Like, I think we finished off 3/4 of a half a gallon of rum. And we were watching one of the new Jurassic Parks. I don't think it was the Chris Pratt era, but it was one of the new ones back then.
Okay.
And dude, it was like, I was like, wait a minute. It was like when the T-Rex fought the bigger, I forgot what that bigger dinosaur is.
Oh yeah. Not Indominate. It's the I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, like it was we always thought T-Rex
like in part 3. It was the man, I'm losing my gosh darn mind.
Well, anyway, yeah. Anyway, so like the T-Rex comes in and he goes inside, and we're all drunk as shit, and I was like, no, see, it went inside, now they're outside, so it's a movie. You know, I was like, kind of like a movie, like a plot hole. I was like, nah, see, it's wrong, blah blah blah. She's like, no, he was outside or inside, then he came outside. And literally off of that subject, whether the T-Rex was outside then went inside or inside then came outside, turned into, that's it, we're breaking up. Like,
really?
Yeah, like we fought like freaking tooth and nail. I was like, nah. She's like, fuck you, motherfucker. I'm like, mother, fuck you, bitch, blah blah, and like, and then like after like by the end of the movie, I'm like, dude, we're really breaking up over Jurassic Park. Is that what's happening now? And she's like, no, I'm wasted. And I'm like, yeah, me too. Yeah, it was knockdown, drag out.
That's funny.
Over Jurassic fucking Park.
Let's see. Images. There is, because you know me and my werewolf movies, there is a Robert Eggers movie coming out. He's the dude that did Nosferatu.
Right. Yeah.
About werewolves. That's the poster for it. Look at that shit.
That's dope.
Yeah, I'm going to see that. Hells yeah. I'm looking at that. You know what movie I would like to see remade? Rawhead Rex.
Yeah, I think, if it was given a dope budget, I think they could really rock that thing. You know, there's a few of them that even though it'd be like taboo, like especially with the AI right now, I would like to see, well, originally it was called Killbots, but
Shopping Mall?
Shopping Mall, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because like now that we got the AI thing going on, Do you see that one with what was that chick? Megan Fox, where she was the robot, the AI robot that took care of the kids.
No, but I know which one you're talking about. I've seen bits and pieces of it, but I never watched the movie.
Yeah, but that's like a good prerequisite or whatever you'd call it to that kind of a thing, because that's what it is. Like she's supposed to take care of her master, the owner, no matter what, and watch the kids, but the kids are subpar in the programming. So it's like when the baby cries and she senses that the dad is stressed out, she wants to alleviate the stress from the dad by removing the crying baby. So it's like, yeah, it's like that non-natural programming, because if you program a machine properly, then like if you say I don't want to be annoyed, then it'll turn off your alarm, you know what I mean, to go to work,
Right.
because that's what annoys you, you know what I mean. So that type of concept, like security guard type thing, it wouldn't be at a mall, obviously, because we don't have any malls anymore, but that type of concept where the security goes beyond the value of human life.
I think it should be at Disneyland, and it's the happiest place on earth, and anybody who isn't happy gets offed.
That would be dope. Yeah.
Or whatever's causing them to not be happy gets remedied.
Right. There you go. Hell yeah. See, we need to go with Shane.
If they can't continue to make them happy, then they get offed, because nothing is making them happy, and they cannot be in the happiest place on earth. You know what I mean?
They're not happy, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we need to go with Shane Bradford and pitch a script.
There we go.
Yeah. But shit, it's been an hour and a half. I wanted to keep this one a little short because for anybody who don't know, we've been through hell and back the last couple weeks, or at least I have.
Yeah.
But we've both been sick and we've both been dealing with stuff. So
we're easing back in.
Yeah. Yesterday and today is kind of us just jumping in and keeping our fans, letting them know that we're still here.
No, we didn't disappear.
Yeah.
Well, we did for 2 weeks, but not permanently.
Yeah. It's hiatus. It happens.
Sometimes you got to take care of yourself. Take care of
Damn
yourself.
right.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I was talking to my boy today. Oh, so yeah, I was sitting out at work on my front porch, and the front porch at work is right along on the frontage road of a main highway. And so I'm sitting there smoking a cigarette, and it's not unusual to hear, like how all these fast motorcycles and Hellcat cars and shit running around. So I see this fucking motorcycle. I hear him coming, like all the way from my peripheral. And he's like gunning it, man. And he's like looking back and and zooms off. And I was like, damn.
Was he on a chopper or a crotch rocket? Because that's
crotch rocket. Yeah, like
that's going to determine how much I like him.
Yeah, no, like a no, me neither. Yeah, save some pussy for the rest of us, Kyle. Right. But no, he's on like a Ducati or some shit, and he just goes, and I was like, I wonder what the fuck he was looking at. And then like about 10 seconds later, here, and literally like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cop cars. Just
nobody could rear you ahead.
Yeah, I guess not. Or it was still a new pursuit,
It's a slow day.
Yeah, I was like, holy shit, yeah. So I just sat out there and smoked another cigarette, and about 3 minutes later, another like 10 set of cop cars.
It was a slow day.
Nothing annoys me more than like, and this happens all the time in Dallas. Like there's somebody on the side of the road changing a tire. And I shit you not, there are like 3 cop cars behind them blocking 2 lanes of traffic, which I get blocking a lane because you don't want the person to get hurt. I get that. But why does it take like, and all the cops are out of their cars, like on the side of the road talking, and this poor schmuck is like changing his own fucking tire.
Yeah.
Like you're slowing down traffic on 75 during rush hour. Feel bad for the guy, right? He didn't want a flat tire, but God damn it, like help him.
Yeah, no
don't
shit.
Block 2 fucking lanes. Give me a break, assholes.
Yeah. Help him out and get it done quick and over. And plus, it's not the Autobahn. I mean, you don't need that many. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it doesn't take 3 cops to like protect 1 man changing a tire.
Yeah, no shit.
Like, put the coffee and donuts down. Get in the car and get the fuck off the road.
It's not coffee and donuts anymore now. It's Red Bulls in a bowl.
Okay, whatever keeps you going, man. Whatever keeps you going throughout your shift. Just do it and get back on the road. All right?
Dude, yeah. And now I got this. So the smoke shop that I work at, it has like it's not abandoned. The dude owns it, but he hasn't done nothing with it. Like an empty lot right next to it. Mm-hmm. And so the fucking county cops, the sheriffs, they sit there and they use it as a speed trap for the frontage road. Oh, nice. And I'm like, dude, no one wants to go to a smoke shop when there's a cop parked at.
No shit. The fuck out of here, man.
Yeah, move it down the fucking road, man. Like, you're fucking up my business. Yeah.
Get the hell out of here.
Hell yeah. Well, all right. Well, we'll call it. Anything you want to promote? You got anything going on?
I got nothing, man. I got nothing.
You ain't got nothing?
Today is my son's 13th birthday. My baby is a teenager now.
Oh, 13.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
He's my sweet baby. He's my sweet baby boy.
My 10-year-old right now, he's beefing with his 13-year-old cousin. And we got a trip to South Padre, and because they play video games online, you know, whatever. And so he's being a freaking bunghole, you know. I don't want him coming with us on vacation. And like, dude, you know, cousins, man. Yeah, it'd be all right.
See, I got along with my cousins. I loved my cousins, but I do not advocate forced relationships just because you're related. Like,
this is true.
Doesn't like them, fuck them.
Right? No, that's absolutely true. But it's like whenever you go and kick it with your cousin, like say if you go.
No, I get if like you're hanging out with your cousin or whatever. Like you guys, you know. But like if my son doesn't want to play with your kid can fuck off.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Not that your kid is bad, but like my son has a particular cousin that I just think is like freaking Satan. The kid is horrible. He's not going. I mean, he's at least on a trajectory from my perspective. Now, I refuse to go be around them anymore. But when Chris reports back and tells me what's going on, I'm just like, that kid's not going to be a decent human being when he grows up.
Right. No, I got. Well, my son's nephews. That there's one of those two, and he's like, dude, and I'm like, I understand that, but like him and his you remember because they used to go play video games and they'd mess up my internet.
Yeah, I remember.
So like they come over, and
I mean,
it's like
they get along. They're probably just fighting like siblings.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like me and my cousin where like we go to the month over at my grandma's, and the first week we're best of friends, and then we fight for a week and hate each other. Then for the next week we're best of friends. You know.
Yeah, I don't even remember what that's like because I have so far removed myself from freaking everybody. Like I don't even remember what it's like. Would be like.
I do. It's great. I mean, that's where you learn to fight.
Yeah, I learned to box with my brother. To beat that crap out of each other.
Yeah, mine was my cousin. When I was in like elementary, like because when you're 3 years older back then is a big difference.
Right.
So like if you know he used to beat me down in the backyard, and he'd go eat broccoli because I was fat. So he was like, eat broccoli, fat boy, and he'd grab grass and shove it in my mouth.
Asshole. No.
Yeah.
I mean, I did terrorize my cousins by throwing snakes on him.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean,
but yeah, same difference. But I ended up learning how to, juke and move and use my advantage and kick his ass eventually. But anyway, all right, yeah, we went off the rails on that one. But
yeah, we did.
But so you're not doing any BMR or?
Oh, I mean, I'm doing BMR tomorrow night, but I think everybody knows where to find me there.
Right on.
Every Saturday night, except last week. I was so tired because I'm having my house painted, and I was helping my friend paint my house all day last week, and I was exhausted. I couldn't, I think I was asleep by the time BMR came on. But I will be there tomorrow night for sure.
Dude, that is a lot more exhausting than it was when we were kids.
Yeah.
When I painted this studio, I was like, dude, that'll be like a 40-minute job, no problem.
Nope.
No, not at all.
I will say that my friend did the bulk of the work, and he has a spray, like a professional spray gun, right? And he knows what he's doing. I was just like helping him scrape the old paint and doing bullshit. But you're outside and you're moving around constantly, and just the stress of having your house worked on is tiring.
Yeah. Same with the rims on my car. Son of a bitch.
I had to have some metal thing in my brake that holds my brake pad on replaced because it was screeching at me.
Oh, I know you're talking about the little clip.
Yeah. The top clip was moving out of place and grinding it. It would only scream at me if I was going between 15 and 40 miles an hour. So as if I'm rolling around town, right? Because the town I live in isn't huge. So we're not zooming unless we're on the highway. If I get on the highway, it wouldn't scream. If I applied the brakes, it wouldn't scream. It would only scream between 15 and 40 miles per hour. So I had to have that replaced this morning.
Lovely.
Woo-hoo! Adulting.
It's horrible.
It's wonderful.
All right. Well, everybody out there, thank y'all for tuning in. And God willing, we'll be back here next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
That's right.
Yep. So.